Hi, I build worlds for a living, but I don't build them alone.
I'm Jeannie, the first reader and the partner who keeps the real world running.
And I'm J.E. Sutton Jr., and this is the co authored life.
A look at the stories we share and the life we're building together.
How you doing?
Hi,
Good to see you.
good to see you. It's been a
Thanks for the
slam
coffee, by the
packed
way.
couple of weeks.
It has been. It has been. Very exciting stuff happening.
Yeah, so
What?
you, you just had a birthday.
Me? Really? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did. Big,
60.
momentous birthday. 60. 60.
Yeah,
Uh,
milestone.
Mentally, I don't identify with 60, but physically, I feel every single day of it.
Yeah, I think you identify more as a middle school aged young man
Well, that's
from
a
my experience in both realms.
well, hopefully I've learned a few things since those days, but I will tell emotionally that may be true. So you want to talk about what we did for my 60th birthday, right?
Yeah, where did you
So
go?
we took a trip
We did.
south of Jacksonville, way south of Jacksonville, to Miami Beach, Florida,
Yes,
to a very, very famous hotel,
yes.
the Fontainebleau. Am I saying that right? Fontainebleau,
Sure.
the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, which is very
Yes.
famous. And I wanted you to tell the story for our viewers and listeners about why you selected that hotel.
So I knew it was a big birthday, and I knew that you are a huge James Bond fan, as am I,
That's true.
because
That's true.
Bond, James Bond. So I picked the Fontainebleau because of the movie Goldfinger. It was
Yep.
featured in the early parts of the movie, and I thought that would be very cool to stay there. And I had to make sure because they have different towers now because it's expanded to get into that curved area, just like Jill Masterson, the character in
Right.
Goldfinger, stayed.
Right.
And
Yeah. So
we lucked out.
yes, we got a very, very nice room right in sort of the center of that curved, iconic curved hotel. And and um, if you've never seen the movie, you should watch it even just for that. But
Yeah.
it's a quintessential Miami Beach vibe, right, from the
Yeah.
'60s, and it really is only a probably 20 minutes of screen time all told through that entire sequence. It's not hugely important to the plot. But it sticks with you. It's a very picturesque location, and it still is
It,
today.
yeah. It's been featured in other movies. I think The
Right.
Bodyguard with Whitney Houston and some others, but definitely Goldfinger. In fact,
Right.
our balcony could have been the balcony that they
It's
featured.
very close. Very close. Now, the suite in the movie has a kitchenette and all that stuff, which our suite didn't have.
No,
So it was a bigger suite. It was probably one of the penthouse suites, which was a
it
level
could have
above
been.
where we were at.
Yeah.
But but
But the
but the
balcony,
balcony was looked exactly the same and had the same overlook onto the pool area. Now the pool area is a lot different now. In the
right.
'60s, it was a very small pool area, which was designed for more social interaction than it is today. Now it's really all modern beachfront spa sort of experience, right? Where it's
Yeah, cabana
individual
beds,
cabana
cabana
beds and
buildings,
right.
beach
And
chairs with
so
umbrellas, all of that for
right,
people who
right,
enjoy sunbathing.
right.
Right.
So in the movie, there's tables and people are playing cards and other activities. That's not really how it's set up anymore. But I think that's
No.
more of a of a progression of time, right? People don't really do that at poolside anymore. They're more swimming and having drinks
I
and
think that's where the
sunbathing.
cruise market has taken over.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
go
You
on
see
a
more of that on
cruise to
cruises,
socialize with other people and
right?
play cards and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know. We don't do that on a cruise.
No,
We
but
stare at the ocean.
yeah, but so we spent what 3 days there, right?
Yeah.
3 days. We didn't really do a lot of. We didn't really do any exploring of the city. We enjoyed the hotel. We had uh, meals at the hotel. Had a lot of room service. Um, Enjoyed the balcony and the oceanfront view, and just sort of relaxed. And so,
Yeah.
uh, while we were there, I did put on Goldfinger one afternoon and watched that opening sequence. The hotel looks remarkably similar to what it did in that film. It's been
Yeah, they
updated, of
still have
course.
quite a bit of the 60s theming going on through the signage and, the elevators this way and that stuff.
Right. So, but so like I was noticing that like the hallways, which undoubtedly the hallways in the film are on a soundstage recreated, but because they're a lot wider than the hallways are in real life. But the decor is very similar. It's updated and more modern, but it still has that sort of Art Deco vibe from the '60s.
Yeah.
The room design seems very very similar. Uh, Obviously, the we don't see a whole lot of the rest of the hotel in the
No.
movie, but you definitely get that beautiful, glorious view. And every morning we had a lovely sunrise, and we'll show
Lovely
you a
doesn't
picture.
even
Yeah, it does.
describe
We'll
how
show you a picture of
yeah.
the sunrise. It's unbelievable. What surprised me though, and I know it surprised you because we talked about it, was that there weren't a lot of people up
No.
on the balconies at sunrise, and I would have thought that would have been a draw, right? Because you can't beat that sort of view from
No,
your
and
balcony.
we do the same sort of thing anytime we're on the East Coast overlooking the ocean. We definitely try to wake up to greet the day with a sunrise.
Right. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe those folks were just out partying a lot, but I never really saw anybody up at sunrise other than us.
I think the
I saw people
last
up.
morning there was somebody to the right of us.
Right. There were people up later in the morning, but at sunrise, which I believe time we were there was right around just after 7 or something, 7:05.
4-7, like
Uh,
6:55
okay.
at
So it
seven
is early.
o'clock,
That
we
is
still would
early,
have
but
gotten an amazing show.
yeah, that is early. But again, when you see the pictures, you'll agree that it's quite the view. So uh, so we had some experiences while we were there.
Some
And
good.
I know we want to talk about those because there was a really great experience and a maybe not so great experience. And there were some very odd experiences, especially at lunchtime. Um,
Yeah.
so why don't we talk about the really great experience first?
Hakkasan,
Hakkasan.
the Cantonese restaurant that's in the hotel. You kinda have to weave your way through the hotel to get to it, but
Hmm.
totally worth it. Very beautiful decor. The service was impeccable,
Yeah, it was.
and the food was artistic.
Yes, it was artistic. We'll show you a picture of one of their artistic dishes. Uh,
Yeah, well,
we'll put that up somewhere. One over
yeah.
here. I never know where Genie's going to put it up, but we'll put that up so you can see. It's a Michelin star rated restaurant.
Yeah,
It again, the just everything, the atmosphere, the service, the food was all 5 star. I mean, you could not have asked for anything better. The
no.
only detraction from this restaurant at all was we were waiting in line to get seated. Some woman was name dropping uh, some hotel person so she could try to jump the line to get a table.
Yeah.
I don't know if she ever did or not. It was the only thing you could say was a negative, but that wasn't
I
the
don't know what
restaurant's
his
fault.
name is. We're gonna call him Kevin for this, but she totally said, "Kevin would totally want us to have a table here." I'm like,
Like,
"So does
I don't
Open
know.
Table. Click, click, click.
Yeah,
You have a
right,
table."
right. I don't, and it was only an hour. I mean, we had we had the first seating right when they opened,
Mhm.
and some people right ahead of us didn't have a reservation. It was only an hour wait. They said, "Come, well, put you down, come back in an hour, and we'll get you seated." So it wasn't like
Right.
there was a tremendous wait anyway. I really am not a big fan of people who name drop trying to jump the line for reservations. It seems
No.
very tacky. But that
Even
has
if I
nothing to do
had
with.
that level of clout, I
I
wouldn't use
wouldn't
it.
use it. No, I wouldn't use it.
No. I'm
That's
a
just terrible.
person just like all these other
Right,
people waiting in line.
right. So so let's talk about, before we get to the second dinner, I want to talk about our lunch experience because it was a little odd. The food was okay once we got seated and ate, but we went down for lunch at
Noon.
uh and we couldn't get lunch
Nope.
because
Because the breakfast buffet was held over and they weren't serving lunch.
yeah, I don't understand that.
Apparently, the cooks can only cook one type of thing. Uh, I don't know. It
I
was not
understand that. But if you're going to have a set schedule, you know when that has to stop and when it has to start. And I'm not sure why you would have a situation where the breakfast was
right.
taking longer. I don't understand. Maybe there was some special event going on that I'm not aware of. I don't know.
I
But
mean,
we had
there
to come
was
back.
a conference in there.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe they had
I don't
a
know.
large amount of people, they couldn't get through them all. But I know it was just really weird. I don't know if you've ever had a restaurant that wasn't serving lunch until after 12:30. That was
Yeah.
that was really kind of odd. Once we got the seated for lunch, the food was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I
You
mean, it's
can't go
lunch.
wrong with grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup.
That's true, and I had brisket short rib tacos.
Yeah.
So they
Were
were
they
they were pretty
good?
good. They were a little spicy for me, but they were really good. I mean, lunch was really great. But what we really wanna talk about was the dinner, my birthday dinner, and I know you were upset about this. It's fine because
So upset.
Hakkasan was good enough for the entire trip. But the dinner that you booked for us on my actual 60th birthday was at a restaurant called Prime 54.
Yeah.
So it's a
It
steakhouse.
was also in the
Right,
resort.
right,
Supposed to be highly rated.
right. So the service was really not that good. Uh,
No, it took forever for everything.
we we took forever to even to get drinks that night, and then
Yeah.
every course to was taking like 20 minutes. We were there, just the two of us. We were there for more than 2 hours
Yeah.
for dinner, and
That's
we didn't
not
have anything complicated.
no, we didn't even have, like, multi-course, uh, appetizer, entree, and dessert. Yeah, we got dessert.
Yeah, we didn't have dessert. That was
Cookie.
well, yeah, the cookie. The dessert at Hakkasan was much, much better. The cookie wasn't bad. Now, I will say that the one thing that they got right was the lobster mac and cheese
Yeah,
is an excellent presentation. It's actually served baked in the lobster shell.
yeah, in the
So they
shell.
take a lobster, cut it in half. It's the whole lobster with all that meat mixed in with the mac and cheese, which is not what you usually get. You get just a little bit of lobster with your macaroni and cheese. But this is actually a full lobster. It ought to be for what they charge for it. They charge like 100
Yeah,
bucks for it, but it was the full lobster
crazy
and it's
price.
baked right in the shell. That was actually very, very good. The rest of the meal was just sort of, your traditional
Yeah.
restaurant, hotel, steakhouse fare. It wasn't anything to write home about. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't bad food, but it wasn't.
You
It
know
was
the experience we had at the was it called Hickory House at Gaylord Palm in Orlando?
Old Hickory, yeah.
Old I even think that was better.
Well, I know the last time we went there wasn't a great experience, but part of that could have been because I was sick, and neither one of us
Yeah,
were in a very good mood that night. But I remember the food we had that night was bland and they had no salt and pepper on the table. And we're like, well, I get that you normally wouldn't have condiments on the table for a high end restaurant. You'd expect the meal to be seasoned properly, but it wasn't.
Right.
So I guess we could have asked, but at that point we were over it. But
That is our
but
pet peeve. If
yes,
you're gonna serve me food, it needs to be flavorful, not
don't bland, not
bland.
no bland food. Yeah, right. So,
And I
but so
understand. Wait, I understand, like, for breakfast, that the eggs not everybody likes salt and pepper on their eggs,
right.
so give me some. Sorry.
So yeah. So um so that dinner was okay. It wasn't great. The service really was, I think, what probably set us off the most because I don't know if they were booked or understaffed or what it was, but it was really, really slow service. And again, 2 hours for two people to have dinner, that's a lot. I would expect I mean, we just went to a dinner party with well, there were probably 30 people or more, probably more than that at that dinner party that we had the
Yeah,
other night.
40, I think 40, maybe 50. I don't know,
Yeah.
40.
And that took about the same amount of time for a three-course meal that we took for two people at this restaurant. So the service was pretty slow. I don't know why. Maybe the kitchen service was really slow. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hackathon. If you're going to uh, the Fontainebleau
Miami.
in Miami Beach, you definitely want to go to Hackathon. Hackathon.
Yeah,
Have the food is fantastic. Meal and the service is great. You won't be disappointed. So
no.
that's really great. What else happened while we were there? Was there
We
anything else?
actually work.
We did work. We did, I did some writing,
Yep.
wrote probably about a chapter and a half in my, uh, unannounced 3rd novel, and we did editing every night for, the 2nd novel that's gonna be released, in April, and I'm not gonna give the title, away here, but we're gonna talk about that here in a minute, so you'll hear about that in a minute, but we did work, every night, and that was kinda fun, uh being able to work with a view of the ocean in a very
Yeah, it's
relaxed
obvious.
environment. I mean, we got a lot of we relaxed. It was very low key, which is exactly what I wanted out of my 60th birthday. But we also got some work done, so that was good too. We wanted
Yeah.
to stay on schedule for the release of the book, which is very important. We got we got our deadline set, and keeping to that schedule I have plenty of time for all of the phases that we have to go through because we still have a lot of stuff to go through before the book is released in April. I know that seems like a long way away, but it's gonna start to catch up on us pretty soon as we get into
April
the
14th, right?
yep April 14th. It's a Tuesday, so
Well, why
mark
don't we
that on.
talk?
Mark it back on. We can segue right into talking about the new book. So we have some
Aw,
exciting. The new book is the second book in the sorry, Alan Harrison and Layla series, and the title of the book is Cybernetic Resonance. Yay! And um, we're going to talk a
we'll
little
have
bit
a
about.
picture.
We will. So the cover. This is the world premiere. This podcast is the world premiere of the book cover, which Judy will display for you. And for those who were involved in helping select the cover, we know some of you liked other covers. Um, I'm happy with what we selected. I think it's very bright, very colorful cover, and I think it sort of gives you sort of a feeling of what the story is about. So
Yeah, it
cybernetic yeah,
definitely
Cybernetic
does.
Resonance, releasing April 14th. Let's talk a little bit about the book. We're
Yeah,
not going to give a huge plot elements away about the book, but we can talk a little bit about what I set out to accomplish in this book. After releasing the Failsafe program, I really wanted to, I wanted to develop some of the relationships more, and I wanted to show some growth. So I wanted to. It's actually funny because the in the original story for the Failsafe program, the character of Stacy Collins was really almost a throwaway character. I needed a character for that first scene at the insurance group and to
adamant.
interact with Alan. Adamant, yep. And so I wrote Stacy into the story, and I had this little line about how she and Alan had sort of a friendly relationship, but it never really went anywhere, and they neither one of them were really sure, how they felt about it. And it really, I didn't really think much about it, but the more that book went on, and the more I started to develop those characters, the more that relationship started to develop for me. And so in the second book, I
Blossom
wanted to develop
or is blossom.
Blossom, yes. The more I thought about it, the second book, I wanted to explore that relationship and develop it a little bit more. And I think that I did that in the story, and they develop both as characters in themselves and uh, as a partnership, sort of
Well, and his
of a team.
people,
Yeah, as people, yeah. And I think Stacy gets a lot more depth in the story because we develop a little bit more time with her. Um, so that was one of the goals I had. The other goal I had was to develop Layla as a character. Even in the Failsafe program, we do a fair amount of development of Layla and letting readers get to know her and understand that she is an ever evolving um, being, just like humans are. She's not
right?
human, but she develops, she grows, she learns, and I
She
wanted to
wants
continue
to
that
learn
growth.
how to understand human experience.
Right. So she's and I mean that's been done before. I mean, obviously Star Trek: The Next Generation famously did it with their character Data, but it's a similar sort of thing. She's learning how to emulate human behavior, how to understand human behavior, and even how to relate her own inner workings to the sort of analog equivalents that humans do. So, I mean, even in the first book, she has uh, her maintenance periods, which she equates to sleeping, and we develop that more in the
Right,
book. So you'll see her develop throughout the book into a real detective partner for Alan and Stacy, and that was one of the big themes I wanted to weave into the book. And the last
right. You said
big
and Stacy. So Stacy developing more than we left her in the fail.
yeah, we did. I felt she developed a little bit in the failsafe program,
Yeah,
really toward the later end of the book, especially in some of the scenes where she had to bail uh, Alan out of trouble, and she does that again in the cybernetic resonance.
she
So, so that's sort of her thing. So the other big theme that I wanted this story to be about, where the failsafe program is about the dangers of uncontrolled AI and how AI really takes on the motivations and ethics of the user, of the
right,
humans. I wanted to explore home robotics, and I think that's going to
right.
become a big thing in the next probably decade. And I wanted to
Yeah, we're already
yeah, we're already seeing it in the news. It hasn't yet hit yet. Those aren't ready for commercial use. This book, though, sort of explores what that might look like and what maybe some of the questions and concerns might be about that. So, in the same way that AI was a big feature of the failsafe program, home robotics is a big feature of this. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot. I will tell you there are some surprises in this book. We introduce a new character, which probably is going to get more page time in future books because I think it's a cute little interaction that maybe sort of creates some tension between Alan and Stacy. And we take
yes.
a character that we only briefly mentioned in the failsafe program, and we give that character more page time.
Yeah,
You
as we're editing it, I'm really realizing how much this character actually does in this book.
right,
It's huge.
right, yeah, it is. It is huge, and it may be a little bit uh, more than I anticipated, but it was important for the plot. It was necessary for the plot, and the more we use this character, the more it seemed to be necessary for the plots. And it that flows all the way through the plot, and we have a nice little thing at the end that's I
Yeah,
think that's kind of fun, and sort of gives that character meaning. So I'm not going to reveal who that character is, and you guys can are free to guess. Almost certain you'll guess it wrong, but you guys can try.
Yeah,
And actually,
because
if
it's
you
kind of a surprise.
yeah, it is kind of a surprise. But if you think you can guess, drop us a line and let us know who you think it is.
Yeah.
And in April, you can read the book and you can find out.
April
So
14th.
April 14th. So those are the overwhelming themes of the book, and I'm really excited. We have a couple big stages coming up. We've got to finish the editing, which got a little bit longer because I added an epilogue. So people who hate epilogues will detest that idea, but we added a
It's
little epilogue.
beautiful, though.
Yeah, it would. I think it's a really nice scene, and it really came out of a conversation that you and I had about one of the characters, and we said we really need a little personal scene for this character because they're always in the shadow of somebody else, and this scene needs to be just their scene. And it really,
Yeah,
really kind of was. It ended up being sort of a duo between two sort of characters who were in the shadow of other characters. But it turned out to be a nice little moment and a nice little setup for the next book, which um, I can tell you, I can give you a little spoiler because I told some people last night. I've actually have two additional stories plotted out in the Alan Harrison and Layla series. Um, and honestly, the only thing preventing me from having more books plotted out is me trying not
time.
to, because I get ideas from everywhere: a book, a song, a newspaper article, a news report, some random comment that Jeannie makes um, somewhere. They come from everywhere. Famously, the Failsafe program is actually based on me reading a book called The Empire of AI by Karen
Right, you
Howe.
talked about that.
and and not because the plot has anything to do with that, but the whole AI concept and the implications of AI made me think about that and allowed me to write this book. The same way the cybernetic resource, cybernetic resonance, is based on a news article that I read about robotics. And so the next two books that I have sort of uh, plot summaries for that I intend to write are the same way. One of them was based on an anniversary that was reported, a certain anniversary of an event that was reported in the news, and the other is based on a news report that just came out recently. Stay
That's
tuned for that. That's next year at the earliest. You'll see one of those stories. Maybe we'll see how the next book goes. Maybe by
I'm
the end of the
thinking
year.
maybe by the end of the year, you'll have that
Yeah,
3rd
maybe.
book.
It'll definitely be far enough along for us to start talking about it, because I know this is something we talked about just recently. I have been reticent in releasing details about the book until it's almost ready to go. And I think that's the wrong approach. And you
Yeah,
brought up just recently that a well known author um,
is
has
promoting a
just
book,
promoting a book that releases in October.
October, October 4th.
Yeah. So if, and I'm not comparing myself to this author who is
No,
the world most well-known horror author. But
yeah.
um, it started me thinking that I'm waiting too late to publicize some of these books. Once we have a firm commitment that we're going to publish a book, we should probably start releasing information about it and develop the
Yeah,
information.
I really think we should start releasing titles and book covers
Yeah,
months before we're ready to. Maybe not
yeah, that
months,
that
but
sounds
a
sounds
month.
like a good idea. So we'll try to do better about that. That's just me holding us back because I'm always worried about um, releasing information that might change or um, or spoiling a story uh, by talking too soon about it. But I think really I'm worried too much about that, and I should probably get past that.
I
So
mean,
we'll do better about
I understand that these are your babies.
that. I they are definitely there's definitely a lot of emotional attachment to these stories and the characters. I don't think not every writer is the same, obviously, but I don't think people appreciate how real those characters feel to you when you're writing them,
I'm
and you
trying to
almost
remember. Do I cry? Did I cry reading this book? I don't think I cried with this
know. I did.
that
You
it
cried a couple
resonates.
times in the failsafe program, but I don't think I wrote anything that made you cry.
I've laughed
Yes, yes,
because
you did. I was pleasantly surprised when I was watching you, I actually had the privilege of watching you read the epilogue that I wrote, and when you started laughing at certain points, I'm like, "Yes." I was hoping that those lines made it were fun. So
Yeah.
those are good moments.
I mean, the characters are real.
Right.
Hey,
Right. They
who
are.
this
And I've made no secret in the past that I write really uh in a very unstructured way. So I'm a pantser versus a plotter, though I'm trying to plot more. So those characters really come, real time out of my thoughts. So I start writing, and the characters start to say things that I didn't necessarily know they were going to say. Obviously, it's coming from my creative imagination,
right.
but it's almost as if they're compartmentalized in my head, so that they're operating on their own. They're almost an asynchronous sort of thing going on, and they just start to happen. And so this plot
You
sorts
are
of
the vessel that they travel
right,
through.
right. And so that seems a little bit cliched, maybe a little hacky, but it feels true. It feels like I start to write, and the characters say things. I'm like, wait, that's not what I intended, but hey, that's a good idea.
Right.
I can make that work. I can make that fit. So that that's um that's how the characters sort of get to where they are. So I
Yeah.
think that's about all we're going to reveal about the story today.
Cybernetic resonance,
Cybernetic
April
Resonance,
14th.
April 14th. Pay pay attention to upcoming information about the story. We're going to be announcing a ARC program, an advanced reader program, very very soon. If you want to be part of that, sign up for that as soon as it comes out, and we're
Yeah,
going to have a
probably
select
early
few
March.
readers. Yeah, early March. Yeah, because we definitely want to give the readers enough time to read the book and then provide reviews. The whole point of that is to get advanced readers so that when the book comes out, there's people who've experienced it and can give a review and let other people know that it's available. So we're going to do that. We had a very small group. With the first book is going to expand a little bit. Uh, this group. So if you're interested in becoming an ARC reader, stay tuned and let us know. You can tell us in advance
Yes,
what's your
for
name on our list.
the Substack. No,
Yes,
no. Sign up for Leela's Legion.
Layla's
Layla's Legion.
Legion.
Futurama?
Layla's Legion. You can go on the website, jesuttonjr.com, to sign up for Layla's Legion. Those will be the first priority for the ARC readers, but they also get advanced information about all of the books and all of the information. So that's where you want to be if you want to be an insider. So we're going to
You
move
didn't
on from
even
that
say
topic.
anything about talking about Futurama.
Futurama? Oh, Leela. Leela. There's no one-eyed characters in my stories. No one-eyed characters. Although I have to admit, I was always fascinated with that character, but I think you were supposed to be
Well, yeah.
as a young
Anyway,
warm-blooded
point
girl.
was
But
you weren't
anyway,
paying attention to what I was saying.
I heard you. I just didn't. I was trying to make my point. Let's move on to the next
Okay,
topic, which is
what are we watching?
our Google Home device is trying to help us. What are we watching? So, what are we watching these days?
We are watching The Pit
If
on
you haven't seen the
HBO.
show, you got to get it. HBO. Uh, it's an amazing story. Hospital drama based in a an emergency department in Pittsburgh, starring Noah Wiley, who was, of course, famous for his role in ER. And
Yeah,
this doesn't, of course, have anything to do with the show ER. It's much different tone and style of show, but his skills as an actor have done nothing but increase and appreciate over the years. It's an amazing cast, an amazing setting, and every week is just it's just riveting, fascinating. The drama
intense.
is top notch. It is intense. Um, I was just not to give anything away, but there was a every year. This is the second year. Every year they seem to make you care about characters that you don't really have any reason to care about. You don't know very well. They're not main characters. They're not like leading characters or anything, but you become invested in what happens to them and the drama is written so well that if something bad happens to them, you feel it, and it drives an emotional response from you. So
Yeah,
this is a really,
and
really good show.
all of the emergencies that come in, excuse me, seem very authentic.
Right,
I'm
right.
sure they have researched a lot
Yeah,
to
yeah. I
make
mean,
it.
these modern shows have lots of consultants and lots of research, but but
And if you are watching it, I'm just gonna say, so now they're analog? How's that gonna go?
yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that's a little bit of a spoiler, but it won't make any sense to you if you're not watching the show if you haven't seen it yet. But so I mean, obviously that kind of fits in with my writing though. Looking
Right.
at the how technology affects us and what would happen if you didn't have it. So it's
Well,
pretty cool.
from my everyday life, I work in a elementary school. We're very technology heavy, and if technology goes down, sometimes the teachers are like, "Well, what do I do now?" And they have to scramble and pull out
Right,
their worksheets, and
right,
they can't make copies because the copiers are all connected to the internet, and what are you gonna do?
yeah. So that's a good point. So that's our what we're watching. Definitely catch that show if you haven't seen it. It's unbelievable show. And I mean the first season was great and the second
Yeah.
season maybe even better.
Oh, we didn't really talk about what else we're watching, but I'm just gonna bring
Okay.
it up. So on the flip side of the pit, we're watching St. Dennis Medical
St.
on
Dennis
Peacock,
Medical. Yeah. Yeah.
which is also another hospital show
Right.
that is kind of like Superstore or The Office or Parks and Recreation. It's kind of a fun, nice little break.
Yeah, it is. You know, the first night we watched it, I felt it was very familiar, and so I knew instinctively what it was, where I had seen some of the themes in the show, and I did, of course, obviously, I went on IMDb and looked up some of the creators, and the show is made by two creators who also worked on uh, the show Superstore, and eh, so it's it's very familiar if you've seen that show and you enjoyed that show, you'll feel very familiar. It's not the same at all,
No,
um, but there's just some themes that run through
talk
both
about
of those shows. Yeah,
paradoxes.
yeah,
Paradox, is that right?
it's really a good show. Again, it's really about the
I'm gonna say it's
characters,
right.
and this is obviously comedy driven show, but it's really fun. And we did not discuss in advance that you were going to talk about that, but that's really a good show to bring up. So
No, I know. I'm trying to keep it
so
fresh.
oh, that hurts. Anyway, 60-year-old arthritic joints going on there. Okay, so the
You
next
look good for
topic.
60.
Hey, that was that. Somebody who said that. Somebody said that when we told them how old I was. One of the restaurants or something.
One, yeah, one of the restaurant.
Yeah, said that I looked really good for 60. I'm like, oh, that's very nice, even if you're probably making that up.
Yeah,
That's a
or
nice, nice
working a
thing to
tip.
say. Yeah, way to work the tip, but keep doing it.
Eh, I
So the
don't think
next
you look
topic,
60.
I feel it.
I I know. I
But
know.
so the next topic we want to get to is what's for dinner. We need logos or
Which has
something. You know what?
been
We need sponsorships or something for this. What's for dinner? The challenge for the what's for dinner segment is we really haven't been cooking a whole lot.
we've been
Um,
bad.
we've been we've been off our game, have a lot of takeout. Of course, we were out of town for the better part of a week, and then
Did
we've
we
had a lot of
order
takeout.
a taco snack pack from Taco Bell? Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
we did.
As you mentioned not too long ago about the possibility of
Yes.
doing that. See, I paid attention that time.
I know. Check.
I heard the snack pack that time. Well, we did just order groceries, and we still have to go pick up groceries later. We ordered groceries delivered, and now we got to go pick up what we couldn't get delivered. But what we did order was the ingredients to make one of my favorite dishes, and I know one of the dishes Jeannie loves when I make it is um, it's the I think the actual recipe I found for it was world's juiciest pork medallions or something like that.
Was it
And I
pork
don't make it.
medallions?
That's the recipe. I don't make it with medallions, or I make it with actually any kind of pork chops. But the secret of this is really in the after cooking this because you cook the pork chops.
I believe it's called the best juicy skillet pork chops.
Yeah. So and I mix a couple of those recipes together, but basically you cook the chops in just oil. You put there's a rub you put on it that has some just standard spices. I mean, pretty much whatever you want, but I think we use onion powder and garlic powder and um, some brown sugar and um, uh, can't remember
Honey?
what else. Salt and pepper, definitely, and you can put
Honey?
no, no, not on the ribs, not on the pork. This is the rub.
Oh, the rub, sorry.
Yeah, you put this on the rub. This is a dry rub you put on before it. Then you cook the dry rub in. Oh, there's flour in it too. You put flour in it too to get it to stick to them. Anyway, so you cook the
Gluten-free
gluten
flour.
free flour too in our case because Jeannie is gluten free. You cook the pork on both sides and then you take it out and let it rest. And while you're doing that, you make this sauce that you're going to simmer it in, and this is really the key, and this is why it's so juicy afterwards. So the sauce consists of butter, um, uh, like a stock or broth, usually chicken, but you can use vegetable as well. Honey, which you mix in there, and a little white wine, and you get that all simmering, then you put it back in it, and then you simmer it, turning it over on both sides, getting all those juices really infused into that pork, and then you take it out and serve. It's fantastic. Jeannie's choking. Uh,
Oh,
so
whew,
anyway,
I don't
you
I'm getting
infuse it.
over a cold.
Yeah, you infuse it with that juice that's really, really good. We'll include a recipe in this week's links.
Sorry
But
about that.
we're gonna get we're gonna get better at cooking. Again, we need to get better at that both for our health and for our finances because it's really cheaper to cook at home and it's really better for you when you do cooking with real ingredients and not eating so much
Yeah. Tastes
processed food
better.
out. So we're not. I mean, neither Jeannie or I are health food nuts or anything like that, but we do we do realize the importance of eating healthy, real food, fresh ingredients as
Yeah.
whenever possible, because it's really
Yeah.
better for you. The processed foods are never going to be as good for you.
Because
Um,
when you're sitting in a restaurant and you're paying prices and you're like, "I could make this better at home."
yeah. Well, and we just discussed this, right? When we make steak, we now cook one ribeye and one big baked potato, and we cut it in half and right, which is all we need, right? We don't need 14 ounces of ribeye. That's not, cutting that in half is perfect, right? Doing a
Yeah.
7 or 8 ounce ribeye is perfect. We don't need a 14-ounce ribeye. In fact, that's what we did. We ate half of the steak that we ordered at Prime 52, Prime 54 the other night, because we're just not used to doing that, and it's better for us.
Yeah.
Cooking with yourself with fresh, natural ingredients is always preferred, and we're going to get back to that. Um,
Yeah.
we're
And
almost we're almost out of time, but I did want to bring up one more topic before we go. Jeannie has a new endeavor that she's embarked on. One she was hiding from me, by the way, for a while. She wasn't mentioning it to me at all. A little bit like when I wrote the Digital Witness short story and only told her about it after. So, Jenny, why don't you tell us about your new endeavor that you just launched?
so Jerry inspired me. I started reading more, and thoughts would get jumbled up in my head, and I'm like, "I need a way to get this stuff out, but I need structure, rules. It's gotta have rules." So I have, since January 1st, been writing a haiku a day, and I've published it to a Substack. It's called lifeinterpreted.substack.com.
Well, great.
It's
Well,
it's not your typical haiku. It doesn't talk about nature. It doesn't talk about lotus flowers. It talks about my life, but in that strict form.
and so, as I was saying, Jeannie didn't tell me about this until we were actually, it was actually when we were in Miami, right? It was the first time you mentioned it to me, wasn't it? Or was it just before we
Uh,
went to Miami?
was before we went to Miami.
Just before. It wasn't, it was the end of it was the end of January before you mentioned it to me. I didn't
It
know
was
you were
like
doing it.
it was like around Valentine's Day.
So it was mid-February when you mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had been more than a month, um, by the time you mentioned it to me. Oop, I just took out my earpiece here. So,
Well,
um, but, so I've read all of them now. They're kind of fascinating. It's sort of a snapshot into what was going on in your day, when you wrote them, and I think it's fantastic. I think you have a lot of creative talent. I know that sometimes you downplay that when we're talking about it. You don't really appreciate how much creative, um, uh, oomph you bring to the stories that I'm writing, because you do, both with the feedback that you give me and the ideas you bring up when we're talking about it. And this is a way for Jeannie to, uh, an outlet for her to show everybody that those creative talents, and I think it's fantastic. Check out our Substack. We'll have the link in the description for this week's episode. And so, as always, I always start these sessions thinking, "Man, I don't know how we're going to fill 45 minutes on this show," and we're trying to keep it to around
right.
that. Um, but I end up looking at the screen, and it's like, "Wow, we're already there." So it's time, I think, unless you have anything else.
No, I think we've
So,
covered everything.
all right. So, again, stay tuned for more information about the book. Tell all your friends about the co-authored life, and I'll end with our standard saying: I build worlds for a living, but I don't build them alone.
No, every story has an end.
Oh, I did it wrong, didn't I?
Yeah.
Let me try it again. Take two.
Wow.
I even have it on my screen here now. So let's try it again. Well, maybe we'll edit that out. Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. We probably won't.
It's a blooper. It's a blooper. So, um, so we'll start with it. We'll start over. Every story has an end, but our process has just getting started.
Thanks for joining us behind the scenes at the Co-authored Life.
I'm J.E. Sutton Jr.
And I'm Jeannie. To see what we're currently working on, visitjesuttonjr.com. We'll see you in the next chapter.
At least I didn't blow that line. I got my name right, at least.
Yeah, there's that.